Star Wars Force Arena players, welcome to this brand new developer update video. So, a big surprise, a big surprise. August the 2nd, there's a big update, a huge update to the game that's coming in. So, for those of you excited about the expansion, there is no expansion. Let's bosh that right on the head here and now. There's going to be no update in terms of the Clone Wars things that we've talked about and seen. But there's going to be big changes to the maps, to the leaders, to the units, to everything in the game. So it's a big change, and so I think with that in mind, there's no doubt in my mind that 1.8 will be the big expansion, and Netmarble is just dripping out little bits of updates now between now and then. But if they're listening and watching, please do not just drip feed the Clone Wars cards, because that would just ruin the experience. It needs to be out as a big expansion announcement. So with that in mind, let's look at what's going to come to the game this Friday, Thursday, Friday, depends on your time zone. A 3-hour downtime of maintenance, which could be extended, no doubt it probably will be, due to the changes in the game. Some of them are quality of life improvements, a lot of them are changes to leaders and units. So I'm not going to go through every single leader and unit, but there will be a link below to the patch notes, and I'm going to highlight some big leaders and the big stuff I think is going to come up, and and obviously feel free to comment below what you guys think about the changes and how you see it going down the path. So let's look at damage reduction changes. Overall balance, it says the development team are making some rather large and sweeping changes to all of the leaders, which they are, of the game, and that includes the 40th anniversary leaders too. The first off is changing damage reduction. At the moment, leaders take 50% damage from cards, except leaders and turrets. So it's a lot of, we do take a lot of damage. Leaders take a lot of damage, and they're increasing the reduction further. So leaders cards will only take 35% damage from non-leader cards. So units now will deal less damage, which is kind of cool. So you survive a little bit longer in the battlefield. That will probably be a strategy thing now for players, especially in 1v1 and 2v2. It's going to be a bit of a game changer, that will be. And this will now allow leaders to get involved in fights for longer. So that brings a whole new element to the game, where you've obviously you can watch how leaders build up from their attacks, and now they're going to get involved in too. And obviously you can get involved still, but you die rapidly. You think if you're Empire, you drop down 3 snipers and a leader's dead. Literally, you sneeze and a leader's dead, which is ridiculous. But let's see how that pans out. So they're reducing damage done to leaders from all targets except other leaders and turrets, from 50% to 35%. So Blazemen, for example, light tanks, melee units, all those kind of things won't hurt you as much as they used to. Moving on to maps. So the map balance is changing. So this is for 1v1. I'm not sure if this would be implied in 2v2. But 1v1, obviously, they reduced the size of the maps a couple of months ago now. I think they reduced the size, and they really are squashed. And what they're doing now is just moving the red zone. It's been expanded by 2 meters in terms of maps, and they're moving it just a little bit forward, just to stop you getting on the front foot quickly. And possibly this could mean that things like the rocket troopers may be in range of the turrets. Again, don't know, have to wait and see how that's going to play out when the update goes live on Friday. So that's going to be interesting how they do that. So it probably buys your opponent a bit more time if you're on the offensive, and you can't deploy a huge load of troops quickly and be on the turret attacking it straight away. How that would be in 2v2, there's no mention of that, so I don't think that would be changed, but we'll see what happens. Position of the front turrets move forward 1.75 meters, and the shield generator hit points has been increased dramatically from 1200 to 1740, so they're going to last a little bit longer now. So with all those changes, the turrets are right in your face now, so things will be shot at relatively quickly. So the rocket trooper may not become viable anymore. Who knows? Be interesting to see what they do, as you can see there in this map. So again, please feel free to pause the video if there's stuff you want to have a look at and not sure about, and obviously look over the notes themselves in a video format. So moving on to movement changes. So movement is something that really does bug me in this game. Leaders feel very mechanical, they're not very fluid, and I know they made some small tweaks to layer and bays recently, but you know, it really isn't enough. So what they're doing now is they're making changes to how fast leaders move, running, dashing, for example, and making adjustments to the stamina. So that yellow bar you see is stamina, and once the yellow bar is gone, they've got no stamina, so you just have to crawl along the floor until the yellow bar charges up. So the time is being reduced by 25%. I don't know what it is now, but they're reducing the time for recovery, and the movement cooldown for all these is being reduced as well to 20-25%, depending probably on your leader. So that should hopefully improve things slightly, but it means leaders can get to danger areas relatively quickly now. So if you're in 1 versus 1, for example, and the maps are smaller, and they've moved the range there, brought the turrets forward, increased the shield generator, so you should be able to get back into action relatively quickly. So battles may last a bit longer, who knows. And this is the one I've been looking at, is a server reactivity improvement. So for those of you who have watched my streams, I mean, you can't see it in the video and in the streams and in the videos where I press the special ability button like 70 times just to do the ability, and there's no range involved. For example, it's literally click click click, and when you need it, it just doesn't do it, and when it does do it, it's too late. So they're making some changes to the server and how it handles the input, and what this will do will make movements and all characters feel more precise and responsive when you do things. So the idea is when you drop cards down, for example, that should be instantly and be more responsive, and that should hopefully make for a better gaming experience, because the amount of times you lose due to lag, and also the fact the input just isn't there for some bizarre reason. It's just like nope, and you lose a turret because it just didn't deploy what you asked it to deploy, which can be really, really frustrating. So hopefully this will make things a bit better for everyone. The range of most characters has been adjusted between 0.25 and 1, and there's a table below which we're going to go into a little bit of detail of all the major changes to leaders and cards that are coming up. Due to the changes with the servers, the attack speed of certain characters has been changed. So here we go. So I'm not going to go through everything, so feel free to pause the video, or again, there will be a link below in the description to the patch notes, and feel free to check all this stuff out. There's a lot of changes going on here to everybody right now, and a lot of it's down to the attack speed and everything else involved. So again, feel free to pause the video. So the attack speed shown, for example, for a Seeker Droid 7th Sister is 1, server side attack speed is 1.23, and adjusted speeds of 1.2. So again, they're really tiny adjustments. Will we notice it? I don't really know. We just have to wait and see how that pans out with the other adjustments, improvements made to the game. So they're the ones that have been changed. If it's not on the list, it's not been changed, but there's more to come. It isn't just that. So looking at Rebel Alliance, Bodhi Rook, cargo pilot, huh? He is if you look at the leaderboards, he's dominating for Rebels, and he's even viable in 2v2. He's a really strong leader to play. So with that in mind, they're making changes to Bodhi now. Bearing in mind that the other leaders have fallen from grace because they're this weak. They're just really weak leaders. And when they made the changes to the drop pod, people like Lando, for example, fell off the par because Lando would rely on a drop pod to get his wins. And you take that away, and Lando becomes almost but useless unless you have some luck. So Bodhi's passive has been changed, increased time to his skill cooldown now, so you have to really pick and choose moments when you need to use your skill perhaps. So to increase it from 17 seconds to 21 for those supply drops that Bodhi does. And the GNK droid, as the maps and turrets are changing in this update, we have decided to slow down the movement speed of the GNK droid. Can it go any slower, I ask you? We will keep a close eye on it, performance, and that's it. There's no big change. The damage is still the same, so if you're using Bodhi, for example, it still benefits from the armor bonus, and same goes for Sabine with the explosion bonus. But it reduces the movement speed from 1.2 to 1, so it's a lot slower on the battlefield, which could be a hindrance depending on who you're playing and what cards are available to you at the time, because bearing in mind, Blaze will counter everything in the game. And if it's a slow moving unit, Rebels can now maybe put a push behind to support it with a tank or a Bantha, for example, but Blazeman again can take care of all of those in a blink if you leave them unprotected. Moving on to the 40th anniversary Luke, they're making changes to him too. They're increasing his damage to his basic attack and his continuous attack. So that's going to go up from 68 to 70, and his damage is increased by 50% on his continuous attack. You know, huge increase. It's almost like it's extremes. Rather than sort of incrementally adding stuff or adding damage increase, say by 25%, for example, let's just put 50. If it's too much, we'll change it next time. It really, come on. So that's what we're doing to Luke, and here we go to some of the big stuff. So they're adjusting the range adjustments. Now, for those of you who've watched my videos in the past, I have complained like you wouldn't believe about Darth Dyson, aka Darth Vader 40, because his range of sucking in units is just huge. You don't know where, you can be on the other side of the world and he'll still get you, suck you in, hit you with his huge attack, and you're dead. And you can't escape it. So that has been a bugbear of mine. But rather than make those changes early when I should have done, they decided to do it to everyone because of the changes to the map. So here we go. Here's a long list. I'm not going to go through every single leader here or unit, so feel free to pause the video and have a look. I will scroll down in slow motion for you guys so you can pause it and see. But for example, Darth Vader at the top there, his normal attack, his range is currently 2, and after adjustment it'll be 1.5, so it's a bit smaller. So that's his normal, it's not a special ability attack, it's a normal range attack, so it's lightsaber. Boba Fett, for example, normal attack again has been reined in, but his skill attack, so his rocket ability right now sits at 11 range, and that's been brought into 10.5. So be mindful, you've got normal attack, which is a normal basic attack, and then you've got the skill attack, which is the button you need to press for their special abilities. So have a look on there. If there's anyone you see you like, pause the video. Tarkin's had a lot done to him actually, normal attack as well. He's having some changes too, but everything by the looks of it is being reduced to make up for changes to the map. Darth Vader 40 there, aka Darth Dyson, so he's having his range nerfed in as well, but only by a point, small percentage point, nothing much to rage about, but he's having all his abilities nerfed, which isn't surprising because he needs it, and I don't even think it'll be enough, to be honest with you. So they're all unique, so the leaders are all being touched, so again please feel free to pause the video, but everything is going down the range, so remember that when you play games. And importantly, the rocket troopers there, so you've got a rocket trooper here, he is gone from 11.5 to 11, so with the changes to the turret that could be critical, so a rocket trooper may not now be able to be out of range of a turret. No doubt I'll do a video and see if that is the case, which is interesting. Blaze would have been nerfed slightly, assassins, TX225, death troopers are all in there, sharpshooters been ranged by 1, so I think they're still going to have the biggest range in the game though, but currently they are the biggest, greatest range in the game, but it brings everyone else in line, so another sharpshooter 11.5, so I think it will still be the biggest range in the game, even more than the Rebel sniper. Lando's had a couple of changes there, Han, Luke, Leia, these are all the Rebel ones now. So Baze is having to change to, Cassian's down to 10. So remember when Cassian first started, I think Cassian was about 12, wasn't he, at first? Now he's down to 10. So the only one who might have the same range, Hera, for her special skill, 12.5. That's a rocket ship, which is fine. But there's no one else. Everyone at sharpshooters still have the greatest range out of any card in the game by the looks of it, at 11.5. So that's cool. Dressing the Rebel Snipers 10.75, so slightly under from 11. What else we got there? Rebel Rocket Troopers down to 11 as well from 11.5. Changes there. So they're all the changes. Fleet Squadron's been nerfed. Wow. Do they really need it? They need all the help they can get, quite honestly. So Mortar Turret's been nerfed as well, 16 down to 15, which could be critical. Still a great range though, so I imagine that would probably be the only card that can hit a turret out of range, would be the Mortar. Will we see more Mortar decks come into play? Have to wait and see. That's it. That is it. They are all those changes. So how do I feel about the changes? I have to wait and see, quite honestly. I will do a live stream on Friday, see if the changes are any difference. I'll probably do some 1v1 and 2v2 just to see what the changes are like, because there's a lot of confusion I think running around with players thinking what to do, best decks, all those kind of things. But you know, it's needed. It's been badly needed, a big update to the leaders, but there's no damage nerfs. It's just really about range. So have to wait and see how all that pans out. Leaders are going to be faster. They're going to have a shorter range. They're going to run around faster. They're going to not take as much damage from units that they do right now. So, and also the shield generator is going to have more hit points. So games may last a bit longer, I think, for 1v1 and 2v2. Have to wait and see. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the updates. Is it enough? We'd like to see some other changes made. Let's see. Have to wait and see what happens. But it surprised me that they've done the changes now before the big update with the expansion. Maybe I thought this was the right time to do it before that arrives, and then hopefully make another adjustment if I needed to when the update comes out for the next big expansion. So, as always, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. As I scroll down again, feel free to pause it. And I'll hope to see you on Friday for the live stream. If not, I'll see you in the next Star Wars Force Arena video. May the Force be with you.